If you're over 60 or you love someone who is, this video might just be one of the most important things you watch today. Because Alzheimer's disease is not something that hits all at once. It doesn't come with fireworks or loud sirens. It tiptoes in quietly, slowly, and often without anyone noticing until it's already taken root. And the most tragic part? The early signs are almost always ignored. People chalk them up to stress, age, or being tired. They laugh them off. They say things like, "Oh, I'm just having a senior moment." But what if it's more than that? What if these little forgetful slips are your brain's way of crying for help? Today, we're diving deep into the 10 early warning signs of Alzheimer's disease that are often missed, especially after age 60. We're going to explain them, give real-world examples, and show you how to respond if you spot them. So grab a pen, maybe take a few notes, and let's make sure we're looking out for ourselves and the people we love. Sign number 1, memory loss that disrupts daily life. This is a most well-known sign, but it's also the easiest to dismiss. We all forget things sometimes, like where we put the remote or why we walked into a room. That's normal. But with Alzheimer's, the memory loss is more serious. It's not forgetting where the car keys are. It's forgetting what they're for. People begin forgetting important dates, names of close friends, or appointments they've kept for years. They may ask the same question repeatedly, even after getting the answer. Let me tell you about George, a retired school principal. For years, he kept a tight schedule. But one day, his wife noticed he forgot his own daughter's birthday. Not just once, but every year for 3 years in a row. He kept asking, "Wait, when was her birthday again?" Even after they had just celebrated. That's not normal. That's a warning. What can you do? Start tracking memory lapses. Write them down. Keep a simple log of what's being forgotten and how often. Memory loss that happens regularly and disrupts daily routines is not something to ignore. Sign number 2, difficulty planning or solving problems. People with early Alzheimer's might find it difficult to follow a familiar recipe or to balance their monthly budget. Tasks that used to be simple become confusing. Think about things like following the steps to pay bills online or figuring out how to adjust the thermostat. Let me give you a real story. Ellen, a retired nurse, always took care of the family bills. But recently, her husband noticed late notices arriving in the mail. When he asked her about it, she said the bank must have made a mistake. But later, he found several checks written to the same bill, all for the wrong amounts. Her brain was starting to have trouble with sequences and numbers. What's the tip here? If you notice yourself or a loved one struggling with tasks that require focus, order, or numbers, keep an eye on it. It might not be fatigue. It might be an early sign of cognitive decline. Sign number 3, trouble completing familiar tasks. This is more than just forgetting to do something. It's losing the ability to do something you've done for years, like making coffee in your own kitchen, or playing a favorite card game and forgetting the rules. One man told me his wife suddenly forgot how to make her signature soup, a recipe she cooked every Sunday for 30 years. She started skipping steps, adding wrong ingredients, and got upset when it didn't taste right. She blamed the stove, but the truth was, her brain was having trouble accessing stored procedures, the how-to files in our mind. What should you do? Gently encourage the person to walk through each step out loud. If they struggle to explain a task they've done for years, it may be a red flag. Sign number 4, confusion with time or place. People with Alzheimer's can lose track of the passage of time, the date, or even where they are. They might forget how they got to a certain place, or even why they're there. I once heard from a man whose father left a house to go to the grocery store, something he'd done weekly for decades, and ended up at the post office instead. He couldn't remember why he was there, and he called his son in a panic. Situations like this are not just part of aging. They can be dangerous. Helpful tip: if you or a loved one starts losing track of the calendar, missing appointments, or getting lost on familiar routes, write it down and bring it up to a doctor. Sign number 5, visual and spatial difficulties. This isn't just about needing glasses. Alzheimer's can affect how the brain processes what the eyes see. People may struggle with reading, judging distance, or even recognizing faces. One common complaint is trouble distinguishing contrast, like seeing a dark rug on a dark floor, which can lead to falls, or mistaking reflections in mirrors for real people. I heard from a woman who became afraid of the bathroom mirror. She didn't recognize her reflection and thought someone was staring at her. It sounds scary, and it is, but it's also a known symptom. What can help? Keep lighting bright and consistent in the home. Reduce mirrors and reflective surfaces. And if someone suddenly seems jumpy or confused by what they see, consider that it might not be their eyes. It could be their brain. Sign number 6, new problems with speaking or writing. People may struggle to find the right words. They may pause in the middle of a conversation, unable to finish a thought. Or they might call everyday items by the wrong names, like calling a fork a food shovel. You might notice them repeating stories multiple times or struggling to keep up with fast conversations. One woman shared how her husband, a lifelong talker and joke teller, suddenly grew quiet, not because he was sad, but because he couldn't follow what people were saying. He began nodding and pretending he understood, just to keep up. What to do? Be patient. Don't correct or rush them. Encourage slow, relaxed conversation, and take note if speech issues become frequent. Sign number 7, misplacing things and losing the ability to retrace steps. Everyone misplaces things sometimes, but people with Alzheimer's may put items in unusual places, like keys in the refrigerator or shoes in the microwave, and worse, they can't retrace their steps to find them again. One gentleman kept accusing his neighbors of stealing his wallet. He'd actually hidden it in the dog's food container. These situations create stress and paranoia. What's the tip here? If you find items in strange places more than once, especially if there's no memory of putting them there, consider keeping a written record or using small trackers like tile or AirTag devices for peace of mind. Sign number 8, poor judgment. This can look like giving away large amounts of money to phone scams, dressing improperly for the weather, or using unsafe household appliances. One senior woman started giving her credit card number to every charity that called her, even when she didn't know what they were. She truly believed she was helping, but it left her bank account empty. This kind of decision-making trouble can lead to financial ruin, health risks, or even legal problems. What to do? Assign someone you trust to keep an eye on finances. Set up auto pay for bills. Use call blockers for spam calls. Protect the person without making them feel ashamed. Sign number 9, withdrawal from social activities. People with Alzheimer's may avoid hobbies they once loved, not because they don't care, but because they're confused or embarrassed. Imagine forgetting the rules of a card game you played for 40 years, or showing up to a book club and realizing you didn't understand anything you read. These situations cause shame, so people start to pull away. One retired teacher stopped going to his chess club. When asked why, he said, "It just isn't fun anymore." But the truth was, he was afraid of being exposed. Tip here: encourage gentle social activity that isn't competitive or high pressure. Walks with a friend, music, or simply chatting with family can help keep the brain engaged. Sign number 10, changes in mood and personality. People with Alzheimer's may become anxious, suspicious, depressed, or angry. They might seem distant or emotionally flat. A once bubbly, warm person might grow irritable or paranoid. You might hear them say things like, "They're stealing from me," or "You're trying to trick me." These changes aren't their fault. The disease affects the brain's emotional centers too. What can help? Compassion, calmness, and patience. Reacting with anger won't help. Keep the environment stress-free and familiar. Now, what do you do if one or more of these signs seem familiar? Don't panic and don't ignore it. Early detection is key. There's no cure for Alzheimer's yet, but there are treatments that can slow its progression. There are also lifestyle changes that support brain health. Regular walking, healthy Mediterranean-style meals, engaging activities like reading and puzzles, managing blood pressure, and getting quality sleep. If you or a loved one is showing signs, talk to a doctor. Ask for a memory screening. You have nothing to lose, and possibly years of independence to gain. And if you found this video helpful, please share it with someone you love. You never know whose life it might change. Subscribe to Senior Health Tips for more clear, honest advice about aging well, living better, and staying independent. Thank you for watching. And remember, just because we age doesn't mean we have to surrender our minds. Stay sharp, stay hopeful, and take care of yourself.